If you think you have no accessibility need whatsoever, think further, because there may be times when you wanted things to be more accessible. Let me give you an example. So when you are 2 pegs down, do you think you lack motor skills? Or when both of your hands are tied to a bag, you're holding a bag, do you want things to be more accessible so that you can use them more easily? That's exactly what we're going to talk today. There are different forms of disabilities. One, there is a permanent disability, there is a temporary disability, and there is situational disability. Let's see them in detail. A permanent one is when you're born with a disability. A temporary one is a one when you met an accident and your both wrists are fractured and you are not being able to use products which are used by hands. And a situational disability would be, let's say a pregnant lady cannot walk fast, or you're holding something and you're stuck with that and you won't be able to use things which actually requires hands. Hi, I'm Gurpreet Bhatia. People know me as UXing, and I do videos on UX and design in general. I study core concepts of UX for a week and I make videos on them with a view to learn and grow together. And if you are a learner, UX designer, or product designer, do subscribe my channel. I share a lot of tips and tricks and what's happening in the UX arena in the world right now, and do share for that. And let's quickly jump into the video. We're discussing today what are the different types of accessibilities and what are the assistive technologies we have to actually help people with disabilities. So as UX designers, we should not think that all our users have brilliant vision, they have brilliant cognitive and motor skills, and they all have good hearing power. So we have to keep accessibility guidelines in mind, and we should always design for that, because there are over 1 billion people in this entire world who are differently abled, and this number will keep on growing. So whenever you design, keep accessibility guidelines in mind. So there are 4 different types of disabilities. There is visual, motor, hearing, and cognitive. And let's see what are the assistive technologies we have today by which we can actually empower these people. The very first one is visual, and it is subdivided into 3 categories. The number 1 is legally blind. Legally blind are the people who are actually born blind. They cannot use, they cannot see. The next one is people with low vision, who have low vision, who can actually see very close, then only they can make out an object. And the third one is colorblind. Guys, there is no technical problem, or I didn't shot anything wrong. Camera is just fine. I just want to tell you that this is how this video will look to somebody who with a low vision. There are more than 250 million people in the entire world who have low vision today. And there are people in the world who really want to see objects very close to their eye, or the text very enlarged. Then only they can make out that what is written and what that object is. So there comes assistive technologies where one can actually enlarge the product or enlarge the text so that they know what action they have to take. The accessibility barriers they have is they cannot actually use a monitor because of the low vision, or they have to make it very enlarged, or any sort of a mouse. They cannot navigate through mouse. Now imagine you're at a wedding party in India where there's a lot of background music and it is very loud, and you can barely actually understand what the other person who is standing in front of you is saying. You're having a hard time to understand that, and you're asking them to talk aloud. This is exactly what a person with hearing disability will feel. And the hearing is further subdivided into 3 categories. The number 1 is speech and hearing loss. The second is profound hearing loss. And the third one is neural hearing loss. People who are deaf, they cannot go out shopping. They restrain themselves to shop in public because it's a very slow process for them. They cannot negotiate. But with the rise of online payments and purchases, they feel very strong and they feel very independent, because now they can actually, they are buying the exact same thing what others are buying. They feel very independent and strong about it. So we have covered 2 disabilities till now, visual and hearing, and let's see what are the assistive technologies we have for visual and hearing. So there is job access with speech, what we actually call JAWS also. There is screen magnifiers by which they can actually magnify the screen and read the text or the images. There are keyboard shortcuts in browsers. They can actually navigate, because it's very hard for them to actually navigate the mouse. So there are keyboard shortcuts, and there is electronic brain readers, and the voice recognition definitely, where they can actually give commands through voice. The third one is the cognitive, and cognitive is all about learning and remembering. It's all about the memorability. Again, the accessibility barriers for them is mouse and a keyboard. And let's see what are the assistive technologies we have today for people who are actually suffering from any sort of cognitive disability. Generally, people with old age suffer from cognitive disabilities. It's all about having a very short memory. They generally have a short memory, so try not to actually tell them to see an OTP somewhere, remember that, and you have to paste it onto third or fourth screen, so they won't be able to do that. So keep that in mind if you're actually designing something for people above 60. They have short memory, so try to make your application around that. It should not ask them for complex steps. So let's see what are the assistive technologies we have today where we can actually empower these people. For them, we have to break complex steps into smaller steps, divide them into 2 or 3 parts. Always provide supplemental media, like whenever you are writing anything, provide that with an icon, and if there is an icon, support that with a text. Combining both of them with the use of text and images together, they are more clear that what action they have to take. And build highly structured media. That means help them avoid mistakes with auto suggestion in search. They might not remember spellings. People who are actually who are suffering from dyslexia and any other diseases where they are unable to actually learn and remember spellings. So give them auto suggestion so that they can actually complete their search and they can make that action complete. And use short and simple phrases throughout your application. There should be no long. Generally, it says that there should be no more than 3 verbs together in a sentence. So always have shorter sentences, simple sentences, so that they can understand what it is. And the fourth one is motor. And motor is all about how fast you can actually react. What is your reaction time to take an action? As society and people all around us are growing old day by day, it will come with its own disability factors. The reaction time will actually get slow as soon as we grow old. So there will be hand tremors, we won't be able to walk fast. So we have to keep in mind whenever we are actually designing for people like that. So what are the assistive technologies we have today for them? Let's see them. So these people are unable to use the mouse or the trackpad. So give them all the shortcuts in the keyboard and give them visual cues on the screen that this is the shortcut you can actually implement to actually run this function. The another thing is we can actually help them with the adaptive keyboard, the voice recognition software wherein they can actually say a command through their voice, which they can actually do. The laser pointers and oversized trackball. When it's an oversized trackball, they will be very easily able to navigate that throughout the screen. Thank you for watching this video. As UX designers, it's our responsibility because we are designing a new world. So we should make sure that whatever products we are designing, from a 5-year-old to a 60-year-old, should be able to assess that. Let's design for everyone. #design for everyone. And this subject is very close to my heart. I'll be doing a separate video on web content accessibility guidelines, which is a set of guidelines, design principles, and rules and techniques to implement on web while you design a website. What are the things you should implement? I'll be doing a separate video. Do watch this space for more. So now, I really want to check your reaction time, that how fast you are. You have to do one thing. There would be a red button which says subscribe. Just click on that in less than 1 second. Thank you so much for doing that. Your reaction time is pretty good. Thank you so much, and I'll soon see you with another video. Don't forget to like, comment on my channel, and if you have any questions around disabilities or type of accessibility, do share that in the comment section. I'll make sure I'll answer each and every one of them. And do stay tuned for my next video. I'll be doing a separate video on the design principles guidelines for accessibility. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much.